Sorry about that. Having technical difficulties. All right. Not sure what just happened. Well, all else fails. We'll not rely on that. But welcome back. Welcome back to the Unplanned Adventure. Glad you're here tonight. We're talking snowmobile the season, fresh trails, groomers, gear, and I've got a couple hype videos that I'd like to play just to that I like putting up every year on YouTube just for fun. Just to remind me, hey, it's almost here, and we're only a couple weeks away before the season starts. Um, we have boating season, ATV season, and what's coming up very soon is snowmobile season, and the snow is coming. Time to get the energy up. Let's start to talk about the tool everyone keeps asking about, the Groomer Tracker app. We're going to talk about that tonight. But real quick, start with a little hype video to get us all excited about what's coming. Little shameless plug. So if you can, I'd like you to like and subscribe as much as possible. We're trying to get up to 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube. I'm going to branch out as soon as I can and start live streaming on Facebook as well. And we'll just see how things go. But if anything, maybe we'll get a couple people on here from night to night, and we'll talk about some different things as far as snowmobiles and ATVs and whatever else we want to talk about. So the other night I did a YouTube live, and I talked about the Groomer app. I like to push that as much as possible because I'm really hoping people will go to it, start using it every year, and hopefully it'll get a good following. Some of the places like Petoskey, Kalkaska, places like that are already starting to use it. A couple places up in the UP, the Chippewa snow chasers use it, and it's a GPS unit they put on the groomers, and it shows you exactly what that. But I don't want to get too far ahead because we're going to talk about that here right now. Like I said, it lets you know which sections are groomed, which sections are groomed, and which ones are fresh. How it'll even tell you like with whether it was in the last couple hours or 12 hours or less that they've groomed it. So first thing you do, you go to the App Store. You can download this app, load it up. You'll open it up here. You'll see that it's got these little widgets in here. Lets you go to the map. It'll show you based on where you're at. It'll show you which clubs you can contribute to, and everything is so you actually subscribe to the club that you're interested in. You subscribe to that club, and then you subscribe to that club, and they get a portion of that money. And I don't think I have the screenshot, but it even gives you an option once you do that to give them some of that money, and then later on it gives you an option to tip them if you want to give more money. And if anybody that's out here knows anybody that does the grooming is it's mostly done by volunteers. Some clubs might have just enough money that they pay somebody to do it, but most of it is done by volunteers. And it's not just the grooming. These guys go out all times of the year and do different things like brush. They do what's called brushing. They go down the sides of the trail and they maintain all of that. DNR does not do all of that. DNR, they might go to some areas and use their bulldozers and stuff like that to kind of knock down some of the moguls that have been made over the years, but they do not go out and maintain the trails, not like these guys do. I know Inland Lake Snowmobile Club. They were out this last October. They went out. A group of them went out. They took their ATVs. They took tractors. They went out. They cut the sides of the trail down because I believe they have to. I'd have to ask, but I believe it's a 12 by 12 what they're supposed to maintain. That's what their goal is a 12 by 12 opening through the trails, and they go down through there and they do the best they can. And this year was especially challenging just because of the ice storms and everything else. So all of that was on there, and it was just it was kind of a mess for them. All right, so like I said, the subscription goes straight to them, helps them with fuel, maintenance, trail work, and the group that I know of, the Inland Lake Snowmobile Club and the Indian River Groomer Club, that money is going to go to uh, fuel for their chainsaws. It goes to work that they have to do on the groomer from time to time. It's not like they're not throwing a pizza party for each other. I don't even think that even happens. So, but I will say this: they go out there. The Inland Lakes, or the Indian River Snowmobile Club or Groomer Club. They're so close together, it messes me up. But the Indian River Groomer Club goes out. They typically every night when there's snow out there, they're out there. I think the only day that they might had Tuesdays. Tuesdays, I think was the only night they didn't have somebody. But when they have somebody, they're even doing it on Tuesdays. Uh, you know, and those guys are they're pretty dedicated. They're out there, and that is not a the Indian River Groomer Club. They usually wait till it gets dark. They start their ride. They go out there and do their ride. I mean, they go out and do their trip, and they could be out there till 2, 3 in the morning. So it's it's not a quick thing where they just go out and do it and then run back to the house. I mean, they might be out there for most of the night, if not more. So it's crazy. Um, so they're out there, making this stuff nice, and uh, it is just, I know I'm a little biased because I'm in Indian River most of the time, but Indian River has some of the nicest trails. It doesn't matter, if there's enough there, they're going to go out and groom it, and they have some of the nicest trails in the area. Um, I know that they're doing it, more than most places, and I'm not knocking any clubs because, like I said, this is all volunteer work. So these guys are retirees. I can't imagine. Actually, shout out to one of the guys who is in the grooming club. Hopefully, he doesn't mind me saying his name, but Mitch, who does a lot of the work and everything and coordinates all this. He will go out there in the middle of the night and work on the trails, and then get up the next morning and go to Burt Lake Marina and work on everybody's sleds. So he's not only going out there and making sure your trails are nice, he's going to the service shop the next morning and make sure you have something to ride. And I know those guys, and a shout out to Burt Lake Marina. They have helped me so many times. I mean, I've pulled up to their side lot over there at their service department and said, "Hey, I'm having an issue," and if they can, they're going to walk right out there, going to look at it, and if they can knock it out right there, they do it, and it's great. You know, um, you know, big shout out to them. And I'm very biased anyway with Burt Lake Marina. I've done a lot of business with them. I love the place. Every time I go to Indian River, I stop by Burt Lake Marina. So, and if there's any other place that somebody mentions that puts in the chat or so on and so forth, I will definitely plug those businesses because I want as many businesses to thrive up there as possible. I want people to go to those areas, ride snowmobiles, have fun, and support all of those businesses as much as possible. You know? So the next thing I had up there was to play the hype video, but I've already done that. I'm having a little issue with my teleprompter, so actually my teleprompter right now is my thumb. But if there's anybody on there, or if you're watching this video later, drop in the chat. I'm going to try and answer as many questions as possible. And if there's something you want to talk about, some area, definitely let me know so we can discuss that. And like I said, this Groomer app is something that I'm trying to push and get everybody to download. And at least find one, maybe two different places um, to go ahead and contribute or donate money to. If we can get a couple places to donate money to it, that would be fantastic. It'll help these groomers out. Not to mention, you know, guys that are in Ohio and Indiana, where down south, you guys could rely on this, and it's a big thing. Let me hold on one second. Let me get back to. Sorry about that. But you know, what I was getting at is, if you're sitting down in uh, Ohio, Indiana, even further, some people, you can sit there, get on this groomer app and see how the trails have been treated, and have they been groomed lately? Are you riding into a mess? Because it's not just the looking at the weather and knowing how much snow's there, but it's also, you know are they getting out there and grooming those? Because you're going to drive all the way up there. Do you want to drive all the way up there and just get beat to death all weekend? Probably not. Um, at least at least not a majority of your trip. You want to go up there and be beat to death. So please get on here, find your club or clubs, donate. They'll appreciate it. Get it out there. One of the other things, so if there's any other apps out there that people want to talk about, I will do something on the BRP Go app. I like that one. My Skidoo, I have an 850 E-Tech Enduro. I have the GPS system on there. I love it. I've had a couple issues here and there with it, but I'm hoping that that's been taken care of. But I was having cord issues, and I'm hoping that I've switched to a new phone. I'm hoping that won't be a problem this year. But I was having cord issues, and every once in a while my phone would connect to my sled, then it would have trouble back and forth. So and I think there's a software update that's going to take care of some of that too, and I'm hoping to get up there and get that all loaded this year. Um, one second. So, like I said, you get on here and you look at the different clubs. They're listed up here, and you can go on here and see who in your area has a club and who you want to donate to. And once you subscribe, I think it's good. It's good for at least a year. I believe it's $10. It's good for a year, and you can add tips and everything else to it. So it's a really nice thing. And like I said, these guys work really hard. It's not just because I have family and friends that do this. It's not something that I would ever think about all the time. But these guys go out. Like I said, they're out there in October and September. They're cutting trees. This summer they were out there whenever they could, and they were cutting trees and stuff and just getting things ready because they knew it was going to be tough. And so that after that ice storm last year, where they just had trees after trees laying on the ground, then they had the wind was blowing. So when all that was going on, it was pretty tough for them. And I think I'm pretty sure most of them got out there and was doing a lot of stuff, but okay, good. I'm wanted to make sure that I was not just sitting here doing nothing, that it was actually on my channel and live. The problem is I'm not even 100% sure, unless somebody was to send me a message in chat, whether or not the chat is working. I'm using a new software. I'm using something that's used by a lot of streamers, and so but we'll get back on track here. Hopefully, if somebody puts something in there, because it says I have live chat, but I don't know if it's working. I have no idea. Let's take one. Let's take a second here. Let's find out. Let's find out if it's working. send myself something. Test. Send. Something happened, but something happened, but I don't see it. Which is very disturbing as far as live chat goes, because I was hoping if somebody says anything here, I would see it. Oh, there it is. There it is. So I don't know why it had to do that, but it took a second. All right, let's get my teleprompter back up here, and and like I said, you're looking over here, and we'll go through here. It also has a map view, so when you go into the map view, you can pull it up, and you can actually scroll in here and see which ones are doing stuff. And you can see here it's color coded. It shows you where they go, what they're doing, and you can kind of take your map and look at that, and it's color coded. And then you look down here and you got purple, green. Oh, it helps if I put it over there, huh? Purple, green, and when I scroll in here, the purple is the trails, green is groomed in the last 12 hours, and yellow is 12 to 24 hours, and red means you might want to avoid that one. It just, again, like I said, these guys are out there all the time doing stuff, and this is just a good way to promote them. It's a good way to help them out, and if you can, what I'm going to get on to next is joining these different clubs. There's different clubs all over. This will give you a chance. You can go on here right now and see the different clubs. Like I had back here, you can actually look at the different clubs here and say, hey, maybe I want to join one of these. Go down to your area, Jordan Valley Trail Council. They might have a club there, but I know Petoskey Club, that's there. And like I said, I'm partial to Inland Lakes. I'm a member of Inland Lakes Snowmobile Club, and you could join Inland Lakes. We have a picnic every year. It's a good time. That's in the summertime. We obviously don't do it when there's a bunch of snow on the ground, but we do a big picnic. We have a good time. They coordinate ATV rides in the summertime. They coordinate snowmobile rides in the wintertime. So it's it's not just a snowmobile club, and they do meetings and dinners throughout the year. So it's not just a snowmobile club. It's like a social club. It's a lot of fun. So if you just happen to be up there and you want to join, it's $20. It's $20 for, I believe, a family, and I'll get that information for you. I'll even get you the contact information if you want. And you can go on Facebook, and on Facebook there's a couple different groups, and one of them is there is a page for Inland Lakes Snowmobile Club. There's also one for me, which is this unplanned adventures. There's a Facebook page for that. Unplanned adventure, not adventurers, just adventure. We're only having one. And then the other thing, you could go in here and the group that I started a few years ago, Indian River snowmobiling, ATV, and water sports. It started off as Indian River snowmobiling. Then I added ATV and water sports because I like to jet ski and I like to do all this other stuff. So I put all that stuff on there, and it's a good time. We have announcements on there. We do some different things. I post a bunch of stuff about the grooming. I post stuff about what's going on. You can even get live weather updates from people in that area. So, because I've looked at the weather app, and it says it's snowing, and I've been standing right there in the yard, and it's not snowing at all. And then other times I've been there, and it says 2 to 3 inches, and I wake up next morning, and it's 6 to 8. Last year was a really good year. Last year was a really good year. We had plenty of snow in that area, so it was a good time. So if you can, give me a chance. Knock that. Put something in the chat there as far as what's your favorite trails to ride. You like Indian River, Wolverine, the Mackinac area, UP rides. I know a lot of people are going to say, UP is not comparable, or nothing is comparable to the UP, and I have to agree. I did not. I spent a lot of time because I do travel a long way to get up there, and I spent a lot of time I never went to the UP. It was never even a thought of, yeah, I need to go up there. I think we did a couple rides around Newberry, and wasn't I mean I don't it wasn't like a huge memory for me. And then one year, a friend of mine, he was up there, Dale. We rode up, and we took the trailer that they offer. Um, they offer the not transit authority, but the Mackinac Bridge Authority has a trailer and a van, and they offer to take you across there. And it was kind of nice. We rode up there. They pulled up into the parking lot. We rode our snowmobiles up onto the trailer. They strapped them down. We went across. We paid the guy the fee. Went across the bridge. Got off right on the other side of the bridge, and we rode all over the place up there. And then we came back, and same thing. Pulled into the parking lot. There's a gas station right on the other side of the bridge. You stop in there. You make the phone call to the bridge authority. They send the van over there. They pick you up and they take you across. I mean, it was quick and easy. It was nice. Um, I think we've done that at least 3 times, and we never had to wait for anything, so it was great, good time. And getting up there on the UP, um, it's nice big wide trails. Most of it is pretty well groomed until you get into the high traffic areas, but that's the same with everything. Um, I know in Newberry you have that little intersection area on the snowmobile trail that goes right into the heart of Newberry, and I believe it's 3 trails that meet there, maybe 2, but it gets really you know gets really snurdy in that area. It's not the best, but it's 5 seconds out of there and 5 seconds through that area, and you're back into some wide open, nicely groomed trails. You just have a good time. Um, you can ride all the way up, through the Taekwondoman. I have some pictures I'm going to share on here that we went up there, and one of the reasons I call this the unplanned adventure is because I tend to we start off in an area. We start off with really good intentions as far as where we're going and how we're going to get there, and I seem to always find a way to get us in an area where I always see something. I'm like, let's go down there, and I end up in some place that it's like, all right, this probably wasn't a great idea, but it's fun. And guess what? I've done tons of rides. I don't talk about the ones where I just rode. We always talk about the ones where we got stuck or we had to do something. In this case, what I was getting at is I took us up through there, and I saw the trail, and I said, you know what? It's not that bad. It won't be that. It can't be that bad. And the beginning of the trail wasn't, and it was one of those going into the Taekwondoman forest there, and we probably got maybe 100 yards, and it was just mud, and it wasn't good. Luckily, we were able to get turned around with very little effort, and get out of there, but it was bad. It was really bad. So, you know, on some of the next chats, we'll talk about whether you want to do you stud your track, do you not stud your track, what other gadgets or things do you have on your snowmobile or for your snowmobile, or maybe your helmets and stuff. What do you have that maybe you could share that either worked or didn't work? And we'll talk about that. And if any of the businesses in the Indian River or Upper Michigan or anywhere for that matter, I'm not partial to just that area. I'd like to hear about places out west. Tell me all about it. Maybe one of them will spark my interest enough, and I'll throw it on. I've got a 6-place trailer. Maybe I'll throw them on there and ride out there. So, you know, I'd like to hear about it. If you can, drop it in the chat, and I'll make an episode about it, and maybe even do some research and talk about it. Or if somebody wants to actually come on here, we'll try and do a live interview, and we'll discuss that area, and I'll ask some questions, and maybe we'll get maybe we'll meet up, maybe we'll plan a trip together. It'd be fun, because snowmobile season is for me is I wait all year. I talk about it. I live in North Carolina, and people ask me, why do I drive all the way up there to go up there? Well, I've got family up there, but I go up there because it is so much fun to ride the snowmobiles. I just have a blast. I have a blast. And just to give you an idea, I put this one on my YouTube channel, but this is a video that every single year I stick on my Facebook. It comes up in my comes up and says, "Oh, hey, you have a memory." Yeah. Oh, it's a memory, all right. I just this is just so much fun. This is fresh snow. I don't even think it hadn't even been groomed yet, and I just went and drove down through there and had to just take off, and it was a blast. I got a couple videos like that. I got last year we were very fortunate. We went over to the Pelston area and rode, and we were we were over there by the airport. Nobody had been on any of those trails yet, and the snow was just going over the front and over the windshield. It was a blast. If you've ever had a chance to ride in something like that, I know there's some people that go out west and they go in the mountains and they get to do all that stuff, but I prefer the trails. That's just me. I prefer the trails. I like the winding and driving around and doing that kind of stuff. And, I will watch the videos of the guys climbing the mountains and doing all that stuff. I don't know. It's not something that I'm going to do right now, but I don't know if somebody ever invites me to that type of an area and says, "Hey, you want to try it?" I'll definitely try it. But I like what I'm doing. Like I said, I like the trails. I like going through the trees. I like whipping through them and doing that kind of stuff, and it's a blast. But so we don't have anybody in the chat tonight, but like I said, we'll be doing this again. I'm just trying to find. I know I'm competing with football tonight, so I'm sure there's a lot of people that are doing that, and I'm trying to get gauge an idea of what nights might be better. I'll try again tomorrow night. We'll have something. It's going to be Friday night. That'll be a decent episode, and I'll put together some more stuff, and we'll talk about some things. And this episode was only about 30 minutes, but it was worth it. Like I said, I'm hoping that most people will get on here, and if you've got questions about the Inland Lakes Snowmobile Club, definitely hit me up in the chat, and I will get back to you. I will send you a message. Go to those Facebook sites. Get on the Inland Lakes page and follow it. You can follow my page, the Unplanned Adventure page on Facebook, and I will have Instagram here soon. I'll have an Instagram page just for that. I'll have I have a TikTok page, but I'm having trouble with some of it. So I will have that, and I will try and stream to all 3 of those at one time, because I've had people ask me if I'm going to do that, and yes, I will. Once I can get this up and running and I get this working a little bit better, I'm going to do cross streaming. I'm going to do all that stuff, and I'm going to, at the very least, even if I can't figure that stuff out, I'm definitely going to post on both of those pages. And like I said, get out there. If you can follow those pages, if you want to go to the Indian River Snowmobile and ATV and Water Sports page, hit me up on there. I will, I'm one of the admins, so I'm definitely going to approve you. Just answer my questions, And I'm just curious, if you get on there, do you know the answers to those questions? Some of you probably will not, if you're not in the Indian River area. But what exit is it? What lake is right there in Indian River? Some people answer. There are technically there's two lakes, but one of them is predominantly in Indian River, and that one is the one I was looking for. But I will take the other one. I'm not going to answer those. I'm going to let you figure it out and answer those questions on the Facebook page. But if maybe if you're having some fun this year and you want to join the Inland Lakes Snowmobile Club, like I said, hit me up in the chat, hit me up on Facebook, and I will definitely get you steered in the right direction. And maybe we'll plan a ride. I'll be up there definitely in February. I have a February trip already planned, and I'm looking at January. I have to plan, be strategic about it, because the snow, sometimes it's there, sometimes it isn't. And because I'm coming such a long way, I want to make sure that I'm going to get the best out of it. And I'm not against trailing to the UP now. It's just when I go to up to Indian River, I like to stay in Indian River as much as possible and only do like maybe 1 or 2 day trips to go to the UP. But I have gone up there and stayed, Snowshoe Inn. I've been there a couple times, and I do like the Snowshoe Inn. It's a great place. How that all came about was I went to we went up there. There wasn't a whole lot of snow. We decided, you know what, let's go up to the UP. We went up to Trout Lake, parked in one of the parking lots up there at one of the gas stations, and we just started riding. And we had so much fun. We were going in circles, just going, doing doing the loop, going up, going all the way up, going to Paradise, coming back down. And then we started going Trout Lake to Hulbert. We just kept doing. There's a couple different places there where you can do a loop, and we were doing those loops over and over again. And actually before that, we just kind of pulled into Hulbert and looked over and was like, that place, maybe that wouldn't be that bad. Let's talk to them and see. So we went up there, and this has been a couple years ago. I'm sure their fees have changed, but they told us $100, and we rented one of the cabins. We went and got our stuff. We brought it over there, dropped it off, and stayed in the cabin overnight. It was awesome. Had a nice little cabin, plenty of room. There was 3 of us. It was my friend Dale and my father-in-law. We were, and we they had a little stove in there. While we were gone, she went over there and put wood in there and kept the place warm. We slept there that night. We woke up to fresh snow. So we went out and rode, and then I called my parents and said, "Hey, mind if we stay up here again? This is a lot of fun. You guys should come up here." They said, "No, we're not going to do that, but you guys have fun." So we went over and we asked, "Hey, is this still open for another night?" She said, "Yes." We stayed another night. It was great. So if you get a chance, go up to Snowshoe Inn. There's a couple other places to stay up there, but that one, I like Snowshoe Inn. It's a great place. They have nice little cabins, and like I said, we went to bed and woke up and our snowmobiles were covered. So it was great. Also, a little fun fact is we saw a Tesla pull a truck with a snowplow out in the parking lot of Snowshoe Inn. That was pretty. That was the last time we went. So we've been up there a couple times, and they actually have they have the cabins, and the cabins I think they on average can hold at least three people, maybe 3 couples. But they have a house that's actually split into 2, and a smaller group can be in one of them, and then a bigger group can be in the other, and it's pretty interesting. We went up there, and that was a pretty nice stay. We had a lot of fun, but Snowshoe Inn. What I can't remember. We call it the Deer Bar. It's not. I know it's but shoot, that is one of the places we go to religiously too when we're up there, and it's pretty nice. You sit in there. They have these big windows in the back, and uh, they have a bunch of deer that they're feeding, and it's just, I mean, it's it's entertaining. You're sitting there eating your dinner or lunch or whatever, and you're looking out the window here, and you're just watching, ton of deer, and they'll put a salt lick out there, and the deer will mess with that. They'll throw, um, they'll have, I believe it's alfalfa piles out there, and they're just going nuts for that. And and then every once in a while, a guy will go out there and throw a big thing of corn, and you watch them all go nuts there. And I don't know if I've heard that it's probably happened before where the deer get all excited and then they jump up and smack into the window and break one. I haven't seen it, but I imagine it's only a matter of time before it happens because they start going nuts out there, and they even kind of you know uh, attack each other a little bit, having fun, playing, and then probably being mean. I don't know, but you know, going back to the first time we rode through there, we actually were riding through and we came up on that side first, and we stopped because we were like, okay, where are we at? And I remember just kind of stopping for a second on the trail, and we looked and see where we're at. And I looked into the trees, and I just see a bunch of deer, and they're all kind of like looking around the corner at me, like, what are you doing? And then I looked to the other side, and there was a whole bunch of deer in those woods, and the same thing. And I'm thinking, man, I'm lucky they didn't want to run out in front of me. And then, come to find out, they're all, hanging out in the woods, and they go to deer, and they go to this bar and eat, and just like us, they go to the trails and walk around, and then they go to the bar. Let's see if I can get the name of that real quick. But unless something's changed, there's only a couple things in Hulbert, and so you would not have a hard time finding it. Happy Hour, Hulbert Happy Hour. That's what it's called, Hulbert Happy Hour. So if you get a chance, go up there and check that place out. Just don't do it on the week I have to go up there, because I might have to go up there and rent a room or something, and I don't want to have to fight with a bunch of people. No, just kidding. So let's see, Hulbert. That's a good little ride up there, and if you get a chance, you can ride all the way up to where the shipwreck museum is, and you can look out. You can look out, and you get to the furthest north point of Michigan, and look out over the um, look out and look right at Canada. It's kind of interesting. Um, Not that that's the only place you can do that, but that's you're looking across the water there. Another interesting place, and I'll go more into depth of that, and hopefully maybe we'll have a really cold winter. I haven't looked to see what the predictions are for this year, but if we can have a really cold winter this year, of course the ice bridge will form, and I'm sure as I'm saying this, somebody's probably already put it on Facebook in one of the snowmobile club or one of the snowmobile groups, and they'll say, "Hey, I'm asking for a friend. Is the ice bridge formed up yet?" It's kind of funny. But other than that, I don't have anything else tonight, and I don't see anybody in the chat yet. So, um, like like I said, if you watch this video, please hit like, subscribe. Um, Let me know in the comments what you think, and what else you want to talk about. Is there anything that maybe you want to talk about in that area? Is there anything I could look into, or maybe from my own knowledge, I could just go ahead and uh, do that, because I plan out this whole thing, and I kind of went off on a tangent already about different things, different parts of this, and it's just because I have so much fun going up there and riding around. And again, this isn't just going to be a snowmobile thing. It is a snowmobile thing, because it's snowmobile season. It's almost snowmobile season. December 1st, snowmobile season. Unfortunately, it really doesn't really start until mid-December or January, but that snowmobile season that starts, and um, I like to get out here and talk about it right now. Talk about the different things. If there's anything that you can think of, as far as what we need on our snowmobiles, definitely we'll put it in here. And as the season starts progressing, I will do live streams and talk about things that I'm learning, like where you shouldn't go, where you can go. If I get a chance, I'm going to interview. I'm going to try and get some people on here and interview them about some different things that's going on in those areas. And I'd like to talk to a couple of different clubs. Maybe a couple of different clubs want to come on here, and we'll talk about what's going on in your area, what's changed, what are you having problems with, what kind of information can we get out, and maybe through these YouTube channel, we'll get that information out. Other than that, it's been fun. It's been real, and as always, my name is Ryan. This is the Unplanned Adventure, and like I said, hit like and subscribe, and look for my YouTube channel announcements of when the next live event is. It'll probably more than likely be tomorrow, November 21st at 7:30 at night on Eastern Time. And again, see you then.